Support for WCBU's On Deck comes from Jaguar Land Rover Peoria on Allen Road, offering complimentary pickup and delivery for service with every new vehicle purchase, including the Land Rover Defender. Details at jaguarlandroverpeoria.com. This is WCBU, Peoria Public Radio.
Central Illinois bicycle shops are hoping this summer brings a boom in business. That's just one of the things you'll want to hear about to start your day for Tuesday, May 28th. I'm Colin Shope, and this is WCBU's On Deck. First on deck today, a new exhibition at the Peoria Riverfront Museum showcases sharks, from the smallest species to the megalodon. WCBU's Cameron Cutinello has more.
Sharks features more than 70 models of different shark species, from the 5.5-inch pocket shark to the 33-foot whale shark. The traveling exhibition comes from the American Museum of Natural History in New York. Peoria Riverfront Museum President and CEO John Morris says he hopes the exhibition sparks curiosity.
Whether we make shark experts out of the young girl who comes in here and the school children that come in and the families that come in, that's not the point of the museum. The point of the museum is to spark learning. Renee Kerrigan is the curator of science at the Peoria Riverfront Museum. She says the exhibit educates guests on one of Earth's most misunderstood creatures. She says movies often create misconceptions about shark attacks.
In reality, there's only about 10 fatalities related to sharks in a year, and many hundreds of thousands of sharks can die in a year based on human activities. So they have more to fear from us than we have to fear from them.
The exhibition also features fossils, including a megalodon tooth discovered by a Peoria boy while on a trip in Virginia. Sharks is open now through Labor Day. For WCBU, I'm Cameron Cutinello.
Here are some other stories we're following in the WCBU newsroom. A consumer advocacy group says Illinois American Water's $150 million rate hike requests to the state should be cut down by about a third. And look out for more closures on Interstate 474 at Airport Road this week as a major road project continues. Plus, the head of Boy Scouts in Central Illinois says he expects the name change will help bring more girls to become scouts. Find more of these stories and all the details at WCBU.org. Much like pedaling along a hilly trail, bicycle shops around Central Illinois have experienced ups and downs in recent years. With Memorial Day signaling the unofficial arrival of summer, store owners and managers hope more outdoor activity will translate into an increase in business. WCBU's Joe Deacon reports.
Joe Russell carries a passion for biking that dates back nearly half a century, and he enjoys sharing that spirit with his customers at Russell Cycling and Fitness in Washington.
No surprise, but cycling to me is the world's most perfect activity. And I say that because good things happen when you ride a bicycle. And the excitement we've got is because of the fact that the bike is still, after all these years, which is more than 100, it still continues to be the world's most perfect machine.
Russell says the bike industry was in decline before the COVID-19 pandemic. But as other businesses got shut down in March of 2020, cycle shops suddenly began to thrive.
During the pandemic, we saw quite the surge, right? Ours is the one activity you got to do. In fact, even in our state, bicycle stores were legally allowed to stay open, a decree by our governor, because we were actually deemed essential for transportation. We cleaned out the store in 3 months' time, and the next bikes were 9 months away. And it was way past trained management to forecast what our needs were for 9 months out. You know, the crystal ball was a little cloudy.
But that surge didn't last. As Russell says, the wave has hit the beach, and now the restocked shops are having a tougher time moving their inventory.
It's down. As far as, it's certainly down from the pandemic levels, but those were abnormal. But back to 2019, pre-pandemic, we're a little below 2019 numbers.
Other bike shops in the Tri-County tell very similar stories. Rich Pestine is the owner of Bushwhacker, a bicycle and outdoor sports equipment vendor in Peoria's Junction City shopping center.
When COVID started, everybody wanted to get outside and do something, and bikes was a big deal, and people bought bikes that they never thought about it before. And they thought, oh, this is fun. And so most of the bike shops, including us, close to ran out of bikes.
According to the retail tracking service Circana, increased interest in cycling pushed nationwide sales to $5.4 billion in 2020, a 64% increase. Last year, that sales figure was down to $4.1 billion. Pestine says that pinch definitely reached the local markets. Now they're seeing some recovery.
But slowly, there's still a lot of bikes out there, so it's a great time for consumers, because there's lots of bikes and they're at very good prices now.
Jordan Skittlethorpe is the sales floor manager at Little Aids Bicycles in Pekin. He says the increased interest in biking has led to a boost in accessory sales and greater demand for repair service. Skittlethorpe says that while getting through the ups and downs of the last few years has been challenging, technological advancements in the bike industry offer reasons for optimism.
Biking's not going anywhere for sure. I mean, now with the explosion of e-bikes that are coming out into the market, people are looking at bikes as more of a serious transportation thing. That's where a lot of the industry is probably going to go, is the electronic assisted stuff. And then, again, gravel bikes, they've become really fun for a lot of people.
Doug Carolus is the store manager at Trek Bicycle in Peoria Heights, one of the company's 4 locations in Illinois. He says despite the industry challenges, bikes are still selling and business has remained relatively steady.
I mean, it's not been the world's worst bumpy road. I think it felt more bumpy during COVID just because of all the restrictions and supply chain issues. So that made it a little bit more turbulent for us, but it's definitely kind of leveled off and settled back into still feels like it was better before COVID actually hit. Like, people have actually continued a good health trend and wanted to be outside more, but it's just becoming a little bit more at least stable versus complete chaos like it was around those times.
Carolus says their store has done well enough in 6 years that they've outgrown their current location and are in the process of moving to a bigger space on North Sheridan Road. For WCBU's On Deck, I'm Joe Deacon.
Now, before we let you go, today is a regular meeting of the Peoria City Council. Those meetings are at 6 p.m. in council chambers at City Hall on Fulton Street. You can hear WCBU's stream of the entire meeting live on 89.9 FM or WCBU.org. And that's all for today. You can subscribe to WCBU's On Deck podcast on the NPR app, Apple, or Spotify.